The sun beat down on the quiet street outside the small roadside diner, where the rumble of Harley engines had just faded into a calm hum. A group of tough-looking bikers stood chatting near their motorcycles, their tattoos glinting in the afternoon light. To most strangers, they looked intimidating, the kind of men you wouldn't dare approach. But fate has its own ways of revealing hearts behind hardened exteriors. And that day, something happened that would remind everyone who witnessed it that true strength doesn't lie in fists or fear, it lies in compassion and courage. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for what's right, take a moment to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel. Because stories like this deserve to be heard. It began when the door of the diner creaked open, and a little girl no older than 6 stumbled out. Her yellow dress was crumpled, her face streaked with tears, and one side of her cheek bore the fresh mark of a bruise. She looked lost, terrified, and desperate. The bikers, who had been laughing moments before, froze as their eyes fell on her. Then, without warning, the child ran straight toward the man who appeared to be their leader, a broad, bearded biker with the word captain stitched across his leather vest. She clutched his arms so tightly that her tiny fingers trembled against his tattooed skin and, through her sobs, she choked out the words that silenced everyone around. "Uncle hit Mommy." Time seemed to stop. The leader looked down at her, his eyes narrowing not in anger but in deep concern. He knelt so he could meet her eyes, gently brushing away a tear from her cheek. Behind him, his brothers exchanged glances. They didn't need to speak, they already knew what had to be done. The man the little girl called Uncle stepped out from the diner just then, a burly figure with a plaid shirt and a scowl. He hesitated when he saw the bikers watching him, but arrogance quickly returned to his face. He had no idea he'd just walked into the wrong kind of storm. The biker captain stood, his presence commanding yet calm. He wasn't a man who raised his voice unnecessarily, his silence alone carried more weight than most men's threats. The little girl clung to the back of his vest, peeking out from behind him as her uncle tried to justify himself, muttering something about family business and discipline. But no one was listening. The bikers formed a quiet circle, not to attack, but to make sure justice would be done the right way. Inside the diner, people pressed against the glass windows, watching nervously. They had seen the man before, seen the way he treated the woman who worked the counter, always keeping her quiet, always making her flinch at every sudden movement. But now, for the first time, she wasn't alone. The door opened again, and the woman, the girl's mother, stepped outside. Her lip was bleeding, and her eyes were swollen with tears, but when she saw her daughter standing safely behind the biker, her expression changed. Relief. Trembling, she whispered, "Thank you." The biker captain turned to her gently, his tone calm yet filled with authority. He asked her if she was safe, if she wanted to press charges. She nodded shakily. The uncle's face turned pale as the bikers took a slow step forward, surrounding him. No one touched him, not yet. The leader simply stared into his eyes and said, "You ever lay a hand on them again, and you won't have to worry about the cops, you'll answer to us first." There was no shouting, no threats of violence, just a truth so heavy it made the man's knees shake. One of the bikers called the police while another comforted the little girl with a gentle pat on the shoulder. The mother collapsed to her knees, holding her daughter close as sirens echoed faintly in the distance. When the officers arrived, the bikers stayed back, watching quietly as the man was handcuffed and led away. The mother gave her statement, and for the first time in a long while, she looked unafraid. But the story didn't end there. The bikers, members of a local brotherhood known for helping the community, didn't just leave that family behind. Over the next few weeks, they checked in on the mother and daughter, helping repair their broken door, bringing groceries, and even collecting donations from other riders to help them start over. The little girl, once shy and frightened, began to smile again whenever she saw the roar of motorcycles down her street. To her, those bikers weren't strangers anymore. They were her protectors, her heroes. The captain often said that people misunderstood bikers. They see the leather and the tattoos, he told one diner customer, but they don't see the scars that taught us compassion. For men like him, loyalty wasn't about brotherhood alone, it was about standing up for those who couldn't stand for themselves. And that's exactly what they did that day. A few months later, at a charity ride for abused families, the mother and her little girl stood at the roadside, holding a handmade sign that read, "Thank you for saving us." When the bikers passed by, the captain gave a small nod and a smile that said everything words couldn't. The engines roared, the wind carried their message, and the world, for that brief, beautiful moment, felt a little safer, a little kinder. Sometimes heroes don't wear uniforms or carry badges. Sometimes they wear black leather and ride roaring machines. But what defines them isn't what they look like, it's what they do when someone cries for help. That day, those men proved that real strength lies in protecting, not hurting, in healing, not hiding. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, and share it. Let the world remember that kindness can come from the most unexpected places. Speech balloon comment below, what would you have done if you saw that little girl? Your words might inspire someone else to act with courage. As the sun set over the diner that evening, the mother and daughter stood together, waving goodbye to their unlikely saviors. The rumble of the motorcycles faded into the horizon, but the sound carried something more than just power. It carried the echo of justice, the rhythm of compassion, and the promise that even in a cruel world, good still rides strong.